Okay, I love a good research question. So we're starting with the 4 goals of research. Anytime we do research, we always need these 4 things. We need to know what the issue is, and we need to refine that as we go along. We need to know the rules. We need case law that illustrates those rules, and then we need ideas for reasoning. So I already wrote in here the issue that our boss presented to us, which is right here, is "Hey Prof, a fair use of Hey Jude by the Beatles." So let's jump right into step 1 of the research process, and let's tackle this thing. So step 1 is all about figuring out where you're at, where you want to go, and where you don't need to go. So you'll see that as we go through some of these questions here. So first of all, in skill 1.3, we need to think about the court systems. And we're not actually litigating yet, but we might be sued. So our boss is trying to determine the strength of the case against us. So we need to do an objective analysis of this defense, this fair use defense, which we don't know anything about right now. So if we did get sued, it would be in a federal trial court, and the facts tell us that's the Eastern District of Michigan. And that gets us to skill 1.3, codified law from which jurisdictions bind your client. So if we are in the Eastern District of Michigan, then case law from the Eastern District of Michigan. I'll write these here in a second so you don't have to watch me type. Okay, so I just typed down here. So codified law that's binding would be anything from the United States Congress, which would be the United States Code. I don't think we need to do regulations here. That's typically not something that you would look at for a litigation like this, or future litigation. In terms of case law, anything from the United States District Court, Eastern District of Michigan would be binding because of stare decisis, and then because of the rules of binding case law, because of court hierarchy, the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals has jurisdiction over the Eastern District of Michigan. And if any of this is kind of like you're confused and you're like, what the heck is going on, then go back to section 1.4, which is a really in-depth, detailed section, and you'll review that and you'll see what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about. Okay, and then finally, of course, the United States Supreme Court is binding. So case law from any of these 3 jurisdictions is binding, and then case law from any other jurisdiction would be considered persuasive. Now I'm thinking about the issue. Right now, we haven't done any research. We haven't found any codified law or case law. We haven't found any rules. So we don't know what the actual issue is yet, but we are certainly on the hunt for it. Now here in skill 1.8, state or federal, as you know from section 1.8 in the book, we will mainly be looking at federal law because we're going to be in a federal court, and intellectual property is largely controlled, thanks to the U.S. Constitution, by federal law. Okay, and then I'm going to brainstorm some search terms here based on the story. If you want to follow along, go ahead and pause the video. I'm going to pause the video myself and fill in ideas of things we're looking for. Okay, so the area of law would be civil instead of criminal. This is about intellectual property, so that's kind of the broad area of law. That will help us know what kind of treatise we're looking for. And this is also federal law. Cause of action, copyright infringement. You probably vaguely remember something from a class. If not, if you don't know copyright infringement, this will come to you as you're researching secondary authority. For parties, musician, artists, publisher, corporation, I don't know, I'm kind of struggling with that one. Things, we're talking about a song, we're talking about the Beatles, we're talking about using a song for humor. For defenses, our boss said fair use. Again, we don't know what that means, but we're going to learn. For relief sought, the future plaintiff, if there is one, probably wants an injunction, which means they want us to stop using the song, and then they might want some money, although if there's only like 3,000 views on YouTube, I doubt that there's much money in this. Okay, and then the plan just has this box about connectors to remind us if we ever need to reduce or increase the search result yield, we'll use our connectors to do that. Okay, so that really does it for step 1, we're kind of ready to go. We're locked and loaded. So let's do this. I'll see you in the next video.